there that we must have a more predictable market environment to promote trade as well as to grow the local industry. And last but not the least, Your Excellency, the Ministry of Local Government, we will be facilitating the establishment of secondary cities. Malawi has few metro cities, hence providing immense pressure on service delivery due to high rate of rural-urban migration. We are inspired by Your Excellency's State of the Nation address delivered on the 4th of September 2020. On page 34 of that document, I quote, "To achieve this, I have directed the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to work with the Office of the Vice President through the public sector reforms to develop a concept and budget for these cities. As far as I'm concerned, the true measure of our nation's development is not the mammoth projects in our cities, but the lifted livelihoods in our villages. It is there, in the rural parts of Malawi, that my administration desires to build a new Malawi, to inspire a generation of new Malawians," end quote. It is envisioned that once established, the secondary cities will have village industries, processing plants, as well as organized markets. We have gone to talk to different councils, and there is unique opportunities for every council. In Chakwera, for instance, they are looking at agriculture production and value addition through the Shilevare Transformation Project, among others, and including tourism. In Kota Kota, they want to create an industrial park and uptown plots to improve the economic status of the district, possibly attract foreign direct investment. In Cholo, they are looking at boosting the milk production so that locally there in Cholo, they can actually produce yogurt, ice cream, and cheese. The same applies to Chitipa District Council, who are looking at promoting and growing in Misuku Hills. First, not growing the hills, but promoting coffee in Misuku, which we know is one of the best coffees in the world. And there is efforts, therefore, to see that Misuku Hills is promoted as a tourism destination, but the coffee becomes what they consume when they go out there. And in Neno, they are looking at an industrial park in Zalewa. And finally, for the four major cities, Your Excellency, on the infrastructure development side, we are looking at modernization of Lilongwe, Site, Blantyre, Mzuzu, and Zomba. This will actually include full dualization of all the road network in the cities, and this is an exercise that will be undertaken jointly between the Ministry of Economic Planning, Ministry of Transport and Public Works, local government, and of course, the Treasury. Your Excellency, let me conclude by repeating that with your continued support and overflowing political will, we will continue to freely and professionally carry out the work that is before us. On behalf of all the colleagues in the reforms team and all stakeholders to the task at hand, I thank you, Your Excellency, for your commitment and the support that you give to us, the ministers and all the MDAs that are implementing reforms. It is everyone's hope that the implementation of these reforms will lead to a results-oriented, high-performing public service that facilitates positive transformation of the economy and the country's modernization. Integrity will be key in the delivery of these reforms. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with these few remarks, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite the guest of honor, His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, the President of this Republic, to deliver his remarks on this occasion of signing of reforms performance contracts for the Malawi public sector. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Honor, Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi. Right Honorable Catherine Godanihara, MP, Speaker of the National Assembly, Your Lordship, Andrew Nyirenda, SC, Chief Justice of the Republic of Malawi, all Cabinet and Deputy Ministers here present, Mr. Zanga Jikos, Secretary to the President and Cabinet, and all senior government officials here present, all Chief Executive Officers of Paris state organizations here present, Paramount Chiefs, and all traditional leaders here present, Reverend Brian Kamwendo, officiating clergy, distinguished invited guests, members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a great day. In the annals of history, it will be remembered as a day we set and committed to measurable standards for implementing reforms in the public sector. For decades, this nation has been like a ship lost at sea, blown over the place by every wind of political and personal interest behind the sails of its public sector. As a result, Malawi's state machinery has been left marooned on the islands of corruption, waste, and impunity, with no prospects of rescue due to lack of political appetite to spearhead the change that's needed. There's a tragic component to the situation we have allowed to prevail. It lies in the fact that our resistance to reforming the public sector is depriving students in our schools of quality education. Our resistance to reforming the public sector is depriving patients in our hospitals of medical supplies and personnel. Our resistance to reforming the public sector is depriving farmers in our fields of affordable inputs. Our resistance to reforming the public sector is depriving youth in our cities of job opportunities. Our resistance to reforming the public sector is depriving women in our communities of equality of opportunity and dignity. In short, there is no deficiency of supply in the delivery of public service that cannot be traced back to deficiencies of demand in the implementation of public sector reforms. In fact, without committing ourselves to standards of reform as we have done today, we would be undermining the transformation that Malawians voted for 5 months ago. One of the main reasons our elections regularly produce a change of government without producing a change of governance is because the public service is largely unresponsive to the will of the people. The entire state machinery is filled with individuals who are sworn to continue doing business as usual, regardless of what the Malawian people vote to see happen in these public offices. There is a clear disconnect between the public members whose tax resource the public sector and the public servants whose talents run that. What we have done here today is an effort to close that gap. If Malawians vote for a president and vice president who promised public sector reform, it is unacceptable for Capitol Hill civil servants to respond by carrying on doing things as before. If Malawians voted for a president and vice president who promised to end corruption, it is unacceptable for Capitol Hill's controlling officers to respond by digging their heels deeper into graft or letting it happen on their watch. If Malawians voted for a president and vice president who promised a government of servant leaders, it is unacceptable for Capitol Hill's ministers, secretaries, and directors to respond by continuing to lord it over those they serve. If Malawians voted for a president and vice president who promised to unite Malawians and galvanize them to work hard and smart, it is unacceptable for Capitol Hill's work ethic to be lethargic, lazy, and partisan. To put it bluntly, for far too long, we have had a Capitol Hill and a public sector that does not respect democracy and the will of the people it promotes and empowers. That is why, even when Malawians vote for change, no change comes. And when it comes to how government machinery works, anyone working to change it is seen as, quote, muntu wovuta, end of quote, or muntu wodzimva, end of quote. This attitude is frankly counterproductive and sick. The truth is that our approach to public service delivery over the last 26 years has been inefficient and ineffective, driven by rent-seeking activities more than nation-building ones. The blame for these dysfunctions in our public sector belongs to all of us. And so the responsibility to fix it must be on all of us. The place to start is with those of us who have accepted to lead the change. And so we have come here to pledge ourselves not only to implement and enforce the reforms Malawians want, but to also live by them. But I want to be very clear. These are not mere documents that will be allowed to gather dust on the shelves of our offices. I want all of you who are members of my cabinet to know that the terms of these contracts will form part of your evaluation during the first quarter of next year. Malawians have no appetite for keeping government officials who have no interest in effecting our reforms agenda. And in this regard, I must thank you, Mr. Vice President, for your gallant effort and the diligence of those in your ministry to complete this important initial phase of our reforms agenda and furnish us with this contractual tool for its execution. I have no doubt that the next phase will be instructive of the pockets of resistance to change that must be excised. Now, let's go and make these reforms happen. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your timely speech. And also earlier on, we heard from the Vice President. Allow me now, Your Excellency, to call upon the Malawi National Cultural Troupe to entertain us. Thank you very much for that performance. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, Your Honor, Right Honorable Dr. Saulos Chilima, Vice President of the Republic of Malawi and Minister of Economic Planning and Development and also Public Sector Reforms, my Lord, the Chief Justice, Dr. Andrew Nyirenda, and Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Mr. Zangazanga Jikosi, Cabinet Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have now come to the end of our function this morning, where Your Excellency, you presided over the ceremony of public sector reforms, performance contracts. I would like to thank you more sincerely for finding time to be with us on this very memorable occasion. It is my singular honor and privilege to request Your Excellency and all invited guests to stand for the national anthem.
Nyimbo imeneyo ya fuko lathu kusonyezanso ndithu kuti mwambo umene umachitikira kuno ku Kamuzu Palace mzinda uno wa Lilongwe mwambo